Thank you, Curtis. Happy to join everybody today on this fantastic Wednesday afternoon. I'm actually coming to you live from Las Vegas, where I'm at the Designation Academy. So this afternoon, we're going to talk about consistency in marketing and why that's so important for our marketing campaigns across both individual auctions and across larger multi-campaigns. So, and we'll look at the end of the webinar today, we're actually going to look at a tool to actually measure and examine how many times we need to reach a prospect before they'll complete a desired outcome, and how long it takes before a consumer will actually complete the desired outcome. So with that, happy to be here with you all, and let's get started. So as we look at consistency in marketing, we need to look at our marketing needs to be consistent across the campaign. So as we're doing direct mail and social media and newsprint and trade journals, radio, television, any other types of marketing, we're doing signage, for example. Every marketing campaign that we do for a particular auction should have a consistent look and feel. That includes calls to action. So our calls to action should be similar. Bid now, learn more. So the consumer is getting a consistent look, feel for that event, so they're not confused the next time they see a piece of your marketing for that same event. They're not, oh, what is this? You know, it's not confusing. We'll see why at the end of this, but the idea here is that the consumer, each time they see a piece of marketing for your auction event, or maybe you're looking for sellers, that they're being reinforced that, oh, this is the same brand, this is the same event. So there's a sense of building your brand and building trust with that consumer. Your headlines should be similar. You should come up with similar headlines, or maybe a series of headlines that appeal to that targeted consumer, whomever that would be, and make it fit that the actual need is, not what your need is. For example, online auction on Tuesday doesn't appeal to your target's needs. What they need is XYZ product at a particular price, or maybe it's to get a deal, or maybe it's to move to the country, or relaxing environment, what have you. So you need to write some headlines here that are consistently, and they speak to your consumer. That other information, the details about your event, needs to come much later. So you need a consistent message there. Your copy should speak to the consumer. It should be consistent. The copy that's in one type of marketing on your newsprint, for example, or maybe your direct mail, it all should have a consistent look and feel. It should be sending the same messages to that consumer, so there's no disconnects along the processes as they interact with multiple pieces of media throughout the campaign. The same with photos. Your photo sets that you use should be consistent. You know, they shouldn't be seeing awesome photos in certain marketing, and then they get to your website and there's all these non-attractive photos. Like, there'll be a disconnect from that consumer, and the consumer is going to back away from the transaction and back away from engagement. So we need to be consistent across the board with our campaigns. And to do that, you know, we recommend, and I recommend very highly, that you document this process through the use of a style guide, if you will. If you're familiar with style guides, I've seen them as short as a few pages and as big as 50 and 60 pages. But this style guide guides your marketing processes from what are our processes, how do we market a particular asset to, what words do we use, how do we avoid jargon, how do our descriptions read, how do our advertising copy read, how do we use photos, what photos do we use, what calls to action do we use. So we've got a consistent guide here for all of our marketing, that so when a piece of asset comes in to be marketed, you've got a process that's documented, that this is how we're going to market this. These are the types of calls to action we're going to use, and we're going to use some data that we've collected to support these decisions, so that we're not just using our gut, we're actually working gutless, if you will, without our gut. We're supporting our marketing decisions with our style guides that are based on data that we've collected as to how our consumers actually interact with us. And then it needs to be more than that. Once we've marketed consistently across a particular marketing campaign, we have to understand that a consumer might take multiple marketing campaigns before they'll actually engage with you. And we'll look at that at the end of this webinar. But our brand needs to be a consistent brand. For example, in the marketplace, if you see ads for Coca-Cola or Pepsi, there's a consistent, or the Budweiser, excuse me, the Budweiser Clydesdales. That's a consistent message. You always see that. You know who we're talking about. We can do that on a smaller scale with our auction businesses by being consistent across all of the marketing campaigns, so that there's not a disconnect there. When they see another auction campaign come through from you, or you may be targeting sellers, they see it and like, oh yeah, that's that company. I kind of remember some other things, and you'll see why that's important at the end of this. So that there's not that disconnect. They see you, and it takes less to build that consumer's trust. They go, oh yeah, that's those guys. I remember other ads from them, and it starts to implant into the customer's brain that what you are and what you do is consistent, and it's safe, and it's okay to do business with these people. So in particular, there's some measurement tools that are important as we think about a consistent. So we've got a consistent message that we're sending within an auction. We have a consistent message that we're sending in all of our auctions with our marketing. And we need to measure then how these people are interacting with us. I'm only going to touch on two today. There's a ton of tools that we can use in our marketing to measure is our marketing to our targeted audience successful or not, is it effective or not. But the two that we're going to need for the second half of this webinar are the first one is the Google URL Builder. So this tool, if you're familiar with the tool, is by Google, and you can actually just Google the term Google URL Builder. This tool allows us to build a URL or a website address from our current website address and attach some information to that URL. So for example, we could have xyz.com, and then we can add behind it source, Facebook, medium, ad. So we know then anybody that visits xyz.com without additional information attached behind it came from Facebook, and they came from an ad or they came from a particular spot on Facebook. So now we can track where particularly a customer has come to our website or to our event digitally, from what source that is. And you can track, and we teach this information in depth here in the Auction Marketing Management designation. The shameless plug there for it, but in depth there. But you now can track across all media, from signs to newspapers to direct mail to different digital, to figure out what's effective and what's not effective. So you're collecting that using that Google URL Builder, and then from there we're taking that information and we're putting it into Google Analytics. So if you don't have Google Analytics on your website, I highly recommend that you get this installed. This is a free tool from Google, and the URL Builder also a free tool. Install the Google Analytics onto your website, and then you'll be able to access a bunch of information, including where all people are visiting your website from, how they're getting there, what source, again, so if you're tracking this source, I mean, you could see, oh, they came from direct mail, they came from a sign, they came from Facebook. And additionally, you know, okay, not only did they come from Facebook, they came from a post, or they came from Facebook on an ad. So you use that URL Builder, and then that reflects in your Google Analytics reporting. And where I want to take this now is a step further, so we can actually see why the importance of a consistent marketing is so important here. We're actually going to look at some of my actual data for the last 90 days as to what a consumer, how they convert on our website. So the first thing we need to set up, and this is going to take 90 minutes to an hour of your time working with somebody or yourself that's familiar with how to set up goals within Google Analytics. See, the idea here is we want to set up a goal that tracks a desired action on your website. So for example, with our company, one of my desired actions is that consumers come to the website and they click on the online bidding link. So I've set up a tracking device, so through Google Analytics, a goal that counts every time a consumer comes to our website and clicks on the click here on bidding link. So what's the advantage of that? Well, now I can tell by source, okay, Facebook ads, consumers click on that button. And maybe Facebook posts, they don't, for example, which isn't the case. We'll see the actual data here in a second. But you're then able to say, okay, this type of marketing, while it gets a lot of people to the website, it doesn't necessarily get them a lot of people to do my desired outcome. And that desired outcome could be anything. That's just my example, but you could have it register as a bidder, be an actual buyer, be an actual person that buys and pays at your auction. Maybe they sign up for an email list. That's another conversion that I use as a goal. Maybe they visit a particular page on your website. Maybe that's a goal you want to track. So you can set up all kinds of different goals. Right now I'm tracking 4 different goals. And then using Google Analytics, so you get these goals set up. And like I said, it's going to take 90 minutes, maybe a couple hours to get those tools and goals all set up and working. And once you get those set up, you're going to then use a tool called Conversion Paths within Google. Looking here, this is how you get there. So you go to your Google Analytics account. At the very bottom on the left-hand side, there's a link there that says Conversions. And from there, you can look at what's called multi-channel funnel. So what this report is going to show us is what people do on your website over the course of a period of time to do your top conversion or to do that desired conversion. So let's actually take a look at that. I think if we look at this chart, we're actually going to be able to see a little better here. So why is this important? And first of all, so here we're looking at actual conversions. So these are people that actually in the last, so we're looking at 90 days worth of data. This is the number of people that actually clicked, well, I shouldn't say 90 days. So it's looking at 30 days of traffic, but it's looking at the activity of those users from the last 30 days, their activity on our website for the last 90 days. So these are the number of clicks on our website in the last 30 days to do that desired conversion of clicking to our online bidding catalog, and what their path was for the last 90 days. You'll see there right at the top, single touch conversions is 50% of our conversion. What the heck does that mean, John? Well, what that means is 50% of the people that come to our website have to see an ad from us in whatever format once before they will actually go to the online bidding catalog. They're like, oh, only they have to see an ad once, and then they'll go do my desired action. That's half of our people. That means the other half need to see an ad at least twice before they'll actually go and do whatever my desired outcome is. So as you can see here, here's my top 10. This is showing all types of conversions. So you can see the first one is Facebook ads, then we have Facebook posts, and you walk right down the list. So you use that Google URL builder, you can see the source is Facebook and the medium is ad. That's the #1 source of people actually converting and clicking on that bidding button or the click to online catalog button. Facebook post, you can see #3 is cost per click. Number 5 is organic search. So somebody searched something and it popped up our website. Now you can make educated decisions. You see #6 is somebody has our bookmark, so they just type in our website URL and it takes it to them. You can see as we get lower down the list here, 7 is Facebook ads. So that person or that group set of people, it's a #7 source of people clicking on that bid button, but they had to see a Facebook ad at least twice, or well, in this case, they needed to see it twice before they would even click on that bidding button. You can see #9 is that group of people before they would click on the online catalog button had to first do a Google search and then bookmark our page and then come back directly to our website. So these consistent marketing campaigns need to be consistent because the consumer, half of our consumers that actually complete our desired action need multiple touches. And if it's an inconsistent message that we're giving them, they might not realize it's the same brand. They may not realize it's the same campaign, and you're going to have to work harder to get those people engaged with your materials. So the second chart we're going to look at, so this is just looking at the people that need at least 2 touches, which remember I stated is half of our conversions. Half of the people that click on that desired outcome need to do so or need to see ad impressions from us in whatever format that would be at least 2 times. So the #1 you can see is Facebook ads, #2 is the Google organic, and then they go directly. you see these consumers are doing many things, and it gets more complex. I mean, you look at number 8, that set of consumers went directly to our website by using the URL 3 times before they had built enough trust with us to actually click that online bidding button and even look at the catalog of assets. Number 9 is somebody searched Google, and then twice they had to come back to our website before they would even click the button to look at a catalog. Again, the importance of consistent marketing is extremely important, because with inconsistent messages being sent out there, these numbers are going to be significantly higher. And you might see that, oh my gosh, my multiple touch conversions have to be, or 70 or 80% of my traffic. What does this mean? What this means is, additionally, if we're using marketing materials that only allow us to market once, so for example, a newspaper ad, the most touches I can get there is 1. I can't get a lot more than 1, because they maybe not, unless I run the ad multiple times. So you've got to think, okay, when I look at this data, how does this impact my marketing? And then let's look at the last chart here. The time it takes for a prospect to complete a desired conversion. Why is this important? Well, if a consumer has to spend, so you look at the chart here, you can see 58% of our consumers make the conversion. They click on the same day they see that ad, 58%. And whether it's, maybe they see an ad twice in a day and then they click. But if you look at the bottom, it's a really small numbers there, but you got 11.5%, 9%, and 7%. You do some dirty math and you get to about 28%. So let's call it 30% for round numbers. 30% of our customers need more than 12 days before, so you need to send them multiple messages, but they'll take at least 12, a minimum of 12 days, up to 90 days before they'll actually click that button. So as you think about marketing campaigns, you need consistency over time, and even marketing a particular one event, you're going to need multiple media that you're marketing in and multiple days. You just can't go, hey, all of our marketing campaigns are 7 days, because you can see here, if I did only 7 days, I'm going to miss at least 30% of the people that actually would click on that for more information. And that could be whatever your desired outcome is. But so you can use this information and go, boy, my marketing campaign should run a little bit longer than 3 days. I might be okay, but I need multiple conversions. I need multiple views in there, because I know that at least 50% of them need 2 or more touches from our company before they'll convert to doing my desired outcome. And some of them need as much as 90 days. I don't very often run a marketing campaign for 90 days, but depending on your asset class and your data, you may find this to be true. I talked to somebody this morning that looked at this chart and they're like, oh my gosh, we sell real estate and we only do our digital marketing for 3 days before the auction. I said, you may be concerned that would maybe bring up some concerns for me, in that you're not allowing enough marketing. But this data here allows you to make educated decisions about how long should I be marketing, how many times should I be marketing the same product to the same person. Tons of great information here to allow you to make informed decisions, instead of just, how long do I market an asset? How many times does a consumer need to be touched? These 3 charts and these conversions allow you to make those decisions. And it all goes back to a consistent marketing message. You're consistent all the way through and across campaigns, so buyers can build trust, or sellers, if you're out looking for sellers, build trust in you, because it's more than, I sent them a postcard once and now they're always going to come to my auctions. No, they're going to need multiple touches, and maybe multiple touches across multiple different types of marketing media. And I think at this point, we're going to open this up for some questions, if you've got some questions. I know that there's a ton of information there.
John, if you're there, we've got a quick question here for you. You mentioned goals, and it sounds kind of complicated when you're talking about multiple goals and outcomes. For someone who's never done this before, is there a primary goal or objective that someone can start with?
Yeah, you need to look at your own businesses, but a good objective, maybe people coming to your website and maybe signing up for an email list. That's a really easy one that just about anybody could start with as a desired goal that you want to track. Another one may be if you do online bidding, maybe clicking to view the online catalog, or clicking to bid, or clicking to register for the auction. So there's some simple ones that you can get started with.
Okay, and another question here. What you mentioned data, and obviously a lot of well, not just a lot, but pretty much everything you guys do is all data backed. Is there what's the first piece of data that someone should start to track if they've not done this before?
You need to. That's a hard question. There's a lot of data you need to track, but the first piece you need to track is how many people are coming to my website and how are they getting there? So what's the source of the traffic to my website? Is it direct mail? Is it email? Is it social media? Is it a search engine marketing? Where is the traffic coming from? From there, you can make educated decisions and see how that matches up with where you actually placed your marketing dollars.
Okay, and one final question here. One of the big pieces of today's presentation was on messaging and consistency. What's a common error that you see auction professionals make in their marketing where they have breakdowns in consistency?
A common error is focusing the messaging on the event rather than what the target will get out of the event. Does that make sense? So rather than focusing on, oh, this is an auction, you need to come to my auction because of XYZ, you need to focus on the target. What needs or what desires will this event fulfill with them? You confirm in my example, Mr. Food or Mrs. Food Service Equipment buyer, you can this event and buy food service equipment at your price because it sells regardless of price. So an ad might say, food service equipment from the closed XYZ grocery store must sell regardless of price on Tuesday. I'm giving them a benefit. Why would I want to go to that? Oh my gosh, I can buy food service equipment no matter the price because it sells regardless of price. So you need
Perfect.
to be consistent across all mediums. So if you look at our marketing, that's the same in a direct mail piece, that's the same in an email piece, that's the same in a Facebook ads, that's the same. We don't do much newspaper marketing, but it would be the same in the newspaper marketing, all the way across the board.
Perfect. All right, everyone, thanks for submitting your questions here today. We really do appreciate those. And if we weren't able to get to your question, we will certainly follow up after today's event as well. Now we're going to move on quickly here before we run out of time. We're going to move on to the 3-question poll that we would like to have you all take part in to help provide feedback for us on today's session. The first question that we will pull up here, you will see it, and we'd like to answer in about 5 seconds or so that we can move briskly through these. First question, I learned something today to use in my future marketing efforts. Again, that question, I learned something today that I plan to use in future marketing efforts. And we'll give you about 5 seconds here or so to answer that. Okay, and then the second question, you'll see that pop up here on your screen. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate today's iSeries presentation? Again, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest score, how would you rate today's iSeries presentation? I'll give you just a few seconds here. And again, on that scale, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. All right, and then the third and final question in the survey, I plan to attend the Auction Marketing Summit, and we will talk more in detail about that here in just a moment. I plan to attend the Auction Marketing Summit, and that is in February, and it is in Atlanta, and we will have some more specific information for you here in just a moment. Okay, and that will wrap up today's survey. Before we do end today's session, we do have some of that updated information I just mentioned. The NAA Auction Marketing Summit is coming up on February 20th and 21st in Atlanta, Georgia. If you learned something here today, you'll definitely want to attend this event as we explore more in-depth topics surrounding auction marketing and hear from several of the best auction marketing minds in the industry, including John. So if you heard little bits and pieces here today and you want to hear more, that'll be the place to be for you. Again, that's February 20th and 21st in Atlanta for the NAA Auction Marketing Summit. as we close, and for more information, you can visit auctioneers.org, or you can check out the education calendar there, or contact Carrie Boydston via email at kboydston@auctioneers.org, kboydston@auctioneers.org. As we close today, you will get a replay of today's session through an emailed link by the end of the week. In addition, if you are an NAA member and you've missed any previous iSeries sessions or would like to hear them again, iSeries archives are available at auctioneers.org/NAA-education. Again, that's auctioneers.org/NAA-education. You do need to be an active member, and you will need to log in to access those. And finally, our next iSeries webinar will be Wednesday, February 1st at 2 o'clock Central Time, and that'll be on business planning. So go ahead and mark your calendars now for that. Again, next iSeries webinar Wednesday, February 1st at 2 p.m. Central on business planning. We'll have more specific information for that for you in the near future. That's going to wrap up today's iSeries. Thank you again for taking part in today's event. That concludes today's webinar. Have a great holiday season, and remember that the NAA iSeries exists because it's about you. Everyone, have a great afternoon.